Gerard, thank you very much for joining us. As a founder of InSigns, you've been pioneering and driving innovation for cosmetic packaging solutions. Could you briefly introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thank you for mentioning that I founded InSign, which is actually my current business. It's a small consultancy. It's a two-people multinational company
Good.
operating in the field of. I'm providing counseling. But before that, I think it's more important. I spent 30 years in the cosmetic industry, working at some major packaging suppliers. And I had the good fortune, it was not planned that way, but it just happened so that I worked in all the fields of beauty. So fragrance, cosmetics, skincare, and so on. And also with all the materials that are the typical materials that are used in that field: plastics, glass, aluminum, metal, Zamac, and so on. So I was quite fortunate to have this view. And also my position evolved during those days. I started with really technological jobs because I'm basically a physicist and an engineer. So logically, I started with R&D jobs and so on. But I quickly moved to more business-oriented jobs. I took an MBA in the course of my career, and I handled business positions. So that gave me, I think, an interesting 360 view of the business, both on the technical and business side, which helped me a lot in the following part of my career. And now today, it's really helpful for me to be able to have that view and then help people to complement their own view. So that's basically what I do.
Awesome.
And,
Thank you. Let me dive into the, let's define innovation and solutions, etc. How do you define innovation for the cosmetic sector, particularly focused on the packaging solutions? And what do you see for key drivers for innovation in 2025?
Okay, well, innovation is a kind of a difficult buzzword to define because everybody has their own definition. But for me, innovation, first of all, it's not an invention. It's not about I have invented a new widget. The question is, I remember, in my career, I joined a company who was the leader of the lipstick at the time, and they asked me to innovate in lipstick. So okay, great, you are already the leader, and you are asking me to innovate. So I saw the engineers must have zillions of innovations in their drawers. So I went to the engineers, and one of the guys showed me, oh yes, of course I have this stuff. I say, wow, but and I showed that to I had my doubts, and I showed that to a makeup artist, and his answer was really funny. Say, but this is not a lipstick, this is a screwdriver. So this is to say that engineers very often look at innovation on the technical side. For me, innovation is really providing a service in a better way or in a new way to a consumer. And maybe the consumer is expecting this, but sometimes the consumer is not even knowing what they are wanting. Because if you make an inquiry and ask people, what do you want? They will, of course, relate to what they know. But it's very difficult for them to invent something. So I think the talent of the innovator is really to understand what the field is like and identify in this field some pockets of white space where a service is missing this. And I have not found in my career any product that couldn't be improved. Even products, very, very mature. I was talking about lipsticks a few seconds ago. The lipsticks are, you could say a lipstick is a lipstick is a lipstick. But there is dozens of ways we could improve lipsticks.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
In a nutshell, that's the way I look at innovation. And the drivers for 2025, sorry, the main one for me is sustainability. You could even debate whether it's a trend or whether it's the new normal. For me, it's not any longer a trend, it's the new normal. But it is obvious to see that the industry has still a long way to become sustainable, and that the new regulations coming in line, particularly in Europe, which of course is the territory where they are more stringent. If the regulation that is in process right now in the European Union would pass today, I think 85% of the packaging could not go to the market. So that gives you an idea of the immensity of the challenge that's lying ahead for the industry to transform into something. And of course, this regulation, I didn't say, but it's obvious, is really focused at sustainability, at reducing emissions, at reducing the use of materials, at reducing waste, and so on, which are all very, natural things. We just forgot, and we just got used to, spend very liberally. But recent context reminded us that we are working in a planet that is finite, where resources are finite, and our responsibility is to use them responsibly. So I think that is by far the main challenge for the industry, and not only for 25, but for the decades to come.
Onwards,
Of course, that's not the only one. Sometimes, because I'm so keen about innovation and I spent my life innovating, I regret that this topic is basically hijacking the entire field, and that when you visit a trade show these days, and when you are looking for innovation, there is no other innovation or very little other innovation than sustainability. And as important as it is, it's not the only thing. I think there are a lot of other things that we need to tackle. Ergonomics, practicality, simplicity of use, obtaining a professional result with people that are not, of course, professional. Either a physician in an institute applying a formula, but ideally, you would love that anybody could beneficiate from the same quality of treatment than by going to an institute. So I think there are a lot of more innovation. A lot of innovation apart from sustainability.
Jumping into that, then we have the next question. So how do you balance then also sustainability, of course, but then with, you mentioned, balancing creative design, functionality, and of course efficacy within the market?
I think that's a very good question, because I think this balance is absolutely fundamental. You are not going to, and I have examples of this, just by making something more sustainable will not make it sell. People don't care. It has to be, of course, sustainable, but it's not an excuse in itself, or it's not sufficient. People will buy functionality, will buy pleasure, because let's not forget that beauty is really a field where, it's one of the last field where you can indulge yourself in some intimate moments with yourself, with in your bubble, and taking care of yourself and not thinking about all the hardship out there. So that is a very important function. A lot of people regard beauty as something a little bit frivolous. It can be, of course, but I think it has this fundamental function that to bring comfort and reassurance to people, particularly when it's needed, in hard times. That's the kind of balance I'm trying to find. Of course, it has to bring a value to the consumer, at the same time reducing the ecological imprint. That's the conundrum that you have to solve.
In that aspect, the role of technology, of course, I would like to discuss with you, because technology is rapidly advancing and growing very much. Like, say, smart packaging with AI, with scanning of your face and all these kind of things. What kind of strategy do you see developing for 2025 in combination with like the cosmetics?
Yes, sure. I learned during my career that, formulators work hard to create fabulous formulations with incredible ingredients, very innovative molecules, and so on. And of course, this is the key. I'm talking about skincare, of course. And this is really the heart of the thing. But I learned that the efficacy of a treatment is only half. Maybe I'm not saying it's 50%, but say half of it is due to the formula, but the other half, which is equally important, is the way it is applied. That's why I was saying, of course, take the same product, apply it yourself, or go to an institute and have a physician applying to you with the right gesture, the right force, the right movement, and the result is doubled. And this is where I think packaging can help. By merging, well, we know that there is this field called instrumental beauty that has been developing, people developing devices for massaging, for adding currents, all sorts of physical treatments. So it's basically a physical element complementing the chemical element of the formula. So it's the idea of combining those two areas, the chemistry, because of course the skin is a chemistry, thing, but also the physics of it. The heat, the massage, and so on. All those things can greatly improve the efficacy of the treatment. And what happens today, most of the time, is that those two fields are working separately. You have people developing formulas, and you have on the other side people developing devices, and they very seldom speak to each other. And that's a pity. And I think there is here, at the convergence of those two fields, there is an immense field for innovation. It's typically, the type of field I see for future innovation. So instrumental packaging, smart packaging, and all those things are, I think, a big thing in the future.
Beautiful. Okay, well, as a closing question, I would like to say, like, if you had anything to share, one piece of advice for brands or packaging companies or something like that, what would that be?
Wow. How much time do I have?
Small. Keep it small and snappy so people remember.
Okay. No, I think brands need to be bold. I think that a lot of what we see today is Me Too's. Brands are always claiming that they're innovating, but when you really look at what's going out, it's a lot of the same thing. And of course I understand why, because it's very risky, to innovate. But I think brands need to be bold, and there are a lot of examples of brands that have been taking risk and being bold and being very successful. So I think that would be my advice.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we've got it. Thank you so much, Gerald, for your time, and we'll speak soon again, I hope, and have a good discussion.